Good morning, students. In just our previous lecture, we were discussing it about the how to derive the molecular formula or empirical formula from the given data, for which we used a percentage of the elements that might be given to us. But how to calculate the percentage? Suppose if they are not given us and they have given us the compounds or some other data, then by using that, how can we calculate the percentage also that we want to study it? So for that case, first of all, we'll try to understand what is percentage composition of an element. So by using a formula or by studying a composition, percentage composition, how can we calculate the percentage composition for any given sum? So for that case, percentage of component, that will be equals to mass of component upon total mass into 100. This is the particular formula that we are using it to calculate the percentage of any given element in a given compound. Okay, let us see it, one or two of it. Like we are having it as in suppose CaCO3. I am taking in such a simple example where I can make a calculation and orally, but you can do it in the same method by using the calculators also. For CaCO3, the first factor, if I want to calculate the percentage composition of each element, calculate the percentage composition of each element, then what we will have to do it is, first of all we will find out the total mass. What will be getting the total mass? Calcium 40, carbon 12 and oxygen 48. That means total mass is 100. That is the reason why I told that I am doing it as a simple sum. Right? We can do it as another sum also, we will find out, which is having something different. Okay. Now for this, total mass is 100. Now I want to find out percentage of calcium. So what we'll do it is mass of calcium into 100 upon total mass. So we will get it as 40%. If I do it for carbon, we will get it as 12 is a mass, 100. So we will be getting it as 12%. Percentage of oxygen, that is 48 by 100 into 100. So you will get it as 48%. But see, this is a formula that I did it, or the sum I did it, that is specifically if the formula is given to you. But in our previous lecture what we did it, we were deriving the formula. So for that case, we will have something different to do it. Right? So before we do that one, let's take it as one more example which can help you to understand what is the percentage composition of an compound if it is given to you. How can we calculate for it? So for that case, let us take it as another example in which if I take it as suppose a compound in the form of HNO3 and I want to calculate the percentage composition. Now see, the molecular formula is known to me. So in that case it's become much easier. Right? So for that case what is given to us? 1 plus 14 plus 48. So you will get it as 48 plus 4, 52, 62, 63. Total mass is 63. If I want to calculate percentage of hydrogen, 1 by 63 into 100. Percentage of nitrogen, 14 by 63 into 100. Percentage of oxygen, 48 by 63 into 100. By the help of calculator, you can find out the percentage of it. Right? So this is the general formula. If I am having it as a molecular formula, then I will be doing it like this. But if the compounds are not given to me, it's not indicated that it's HNO3. So I won't be able to get the total mass. Then how will I get the answer for it? So for that case, what is a possibility? That is a there to be as a question. It might be given to you that in given organic compound weighing 3.2 gram on combustion produces 4.8 gram of carbon dioxide and 2.8 gram of water. What is the percentage of carbon and hydrogen in the given compound? Right? Okay. Now, organic compound, it's unknown to me. Organic compound is X. It consists of carbon, hydrogen. I don't know what is the number of carbon or hydrogen in it. But it is told that if this molecule is taken for the combustion, it is going to produce CO2 plus H2O. Now there is a possibility that oxygen may be present with it, may not be present. We are not sure about it. How we will find out that factor, whether the percentage of oxygen is there or not, that also we will understand. But there is a compound, suppose C of A molecules, hydrogen B molecules and oxygen as C molecules, it's reacted. It produces CO2 and H2O. Now what does this reaction shows? There is a certain compound. It's producing carbon dioxide. Now carbon dioxide consists CO2, it contains C, if it is 44, 12 is the carbon, but it is told to me it's a 4.8. So what is the carbon present in it? Can we calculate it? We will be getting it as 4.8 into 12 by 44. That will give me mass of carbon. That will give me mass of carbon. Okay. Second, similarly, if I do it as an H2O, then it contains hydrogen. 2 molecules are there. So can I say that 18 contains total 2, but water is 2.8. So what is the amount of the hydrogen? So we will be getting it as 2.8 into 2 by 18. That will give me mass of hydrogen. Once I get it as, by this formula I got it mass of carbon, mass of hydrogen. Now we will convert it something into percentage. Now once we get it as mass of carbon, we wrote it that by calculating it, it shows me that it was mass of carbon, that was 4.8 into 4.8 into 12 by 44, right? This much carbon is there, right? Okay, what does it shows? In a 3.2 gram, in 100 gram, how much? So that will give me percentage of carbon, 100 into 4.8 into 12 by 44 into 3.2. That will give me percentage of carbon. Similarly, percentage of hydrogen, we got it as, first of all, mass of hydrogen, that we got it as 2.8 into 2 by 18. That was in 3.2 gram of an organic compound. Organic compound is fixed. So 100 gram will have percentage of hydrogen equals to 2.8 into 2 into 100 by 18 into 3.2. We will get the percentage of hydrogen. If this two total is equals to 100, if the total is equals to 100, then oxygen is absent. If total is not equals to 100, then rest is the oxygen. So this is the another method to calculate the percentage. Now first one we did it was percentage composition present in the given compound. Second, we calculated the percentage from the unknown substance. Once we get the percentage, we can calculate the empirical formula as you did it in the previous lecture. Okay, clear to everyone? Okay, now the next topic we are having it, which is one of the important for the chemistry point of view, that is related to the limiting reagents. Now for that case, the first factor, that is, we should always know it, how to balance the reaction. And what is a limiting reagent? The limiting reagent is the reagent which stops the reaction by its complete reaction. On completing itself, on complete reacting of the component, the reaction stops. The component which gets completely reacted in the reaction is known as limiting reagent. Now let us first of all understand it with the help of an example. Now we know it that reaction of H2 plus O2, it gets converted into H2O. But when I want to study about the limiting reagent, first factor is I want to balance the reaction. Now all of you are knowing it, how to balance the reaction. We are always trying to balance the reaction by the help of trial and error method. Here its a reaction is much easier. We know the balance reaction of it. 2H2 plus O2 gets converted into 2H2O. Now it is told to me that 5 grams of H2 is reacted in 10 gram of oxygen. What is the amount of H2O produced? That means it is told to me that hydrogen is 5 grams, oxygen is 10 grams. What is the amount of H2O produced? Now for this case, first of all, the balance reaction is there. I will have to find out whether hydrogen is completely reacted or oxygen. First factor will be that to be decided. That will give me a limiting reagent. Then I will be able to do it. So for this, what we'll do it is 2H2 reacts with O2 to produce 2H2. So this reaction shows me that 4 gram of hydrogen reacts with 32 gram of an oxygen to produce 36 gram of an water. This is the reaction that is given to us. Okay, now it is told to me that we are going to take this as 5, this as 10. Right? Okay, now it shows me that 4 reacts with 32. So I am taking it as a basic 5. 5 needs how much? So can I say that 5 into 32 by 4. 5, 4, 8 are 32. So 5 8 are 40 grams. So if I want to completely react 5 grams, I need 40 grams. But I am having it as an only 10 grams. I don't have 40 grams. I am having only 10 grams. So what does it shows? This is my limiting reagent. It's not there in the enough quantity. If it would be an enough quantity, then this would have become a limiting reagent. So at present, in the given sum, O2 is a limiting reagent. So on the basis of O2, we will have to make a calculation. So I want to calculate the amount of water. So what we'll do it is O2 being a limiting reagent. O2 is the limiting reagent. Therefore, 32 gram produces 36 gram. So 10 gram, because oxygen was maximum 10 gram. So we will get it as 10 into 36 by 32. We will be getting it as a mass of water that will be produced. Right? So whenever we will have to do it, we will have to make this type of calculation to find out which one is going to act as a limiting reagent. Let us take it one more example. We are having it as a reaction of N2, H2, NH3. Right? And it is told to me that 28 grams of N2 is reacted with 10 gram of H2. What is the amount of NH3? Right? So in this case, the first factor, as we already know it, what we will have to do it is, first of all, balance the reaction. How we will balance it? We will be getting it as an N2, 3H2, 2NH3. First one, we balance the reaction. Now the second step we will be doing it is, find out their standard masses. 28 gram reacts with 6 gram to produce 34 grams. Is it? Okay. Now this is the base. What is given to us? 28 is there. 10 is there. So what does it choose? This one becomes much easier for us. 28 needs 6 and here we are having it 10. So can I say that I am having it as an enough quantity to react this? So N2 is N2 becomes an limiting reagent. So the question has become much easier, right? 28 gram needs 6 and it's having 10. So enough quantity is there. So nitrogen becomes limiting reagent. And once the nitrogen becomes a limiting reagent, now we know it, 28 produces 34 and 28 is my limiting reagent. So it is going to produce 34 grams of NH3. Is it? So clear to everyone? That is the limiting reagents. Okay, that's all for the today's lecture. We did it two of the factors. One is percentage composition, how to calculate the percentage of the compound of the atom from the given compounds, and the second one is limiting reagent and how to find out the products by using the limiting reagents. Okay, in the next lecture, which would be most probably a last topic of our syllabus, particularly of our chapter, and that is units of concentration, how we will be measuring the concentration, that is the whenever the solution formation takes place. So that is going to be very important, because it's not going to be only for this 11th standard, but your 12th standard we will be also having it as a same topic to be repeated with even more number of concentration units to be done, right? So make it sure that we will be present in our next lecture. Thank you.